All right, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to manage your jobs for your construction company. Okay, so in this, the first program I'm going to show you is Jobber, and I'm going to show you how you are not able to manage your projects in Jobber. Okay, so what Jobber has is a very nice looking software. At this point, they have over 100,000 users, so you would think that it's awesome, right? Well, there's one thing that's left that stops you from being able to manage all your projects. Like you do have the area, basically your schedule, which this is what most companies are worried about when you're first starting, your business or you're first getting into software of, how do I manage the jobs, right? So you're basically using this and you could take, if this is for, where are we at? So this is our following week. So we basically have jobs scheduled. You can see that basically when they're color, that they're assigned to someone. Okay, so it tells you who it's assigned to. But then if we have these other ones, it's not assigned yet. The reason why we have it like that is because basically as these jobs get completed, depending on who gets done first, then we will assign the next job to that user. But scheduling the job is only one part of managing all the projects with for your construction company, right? Because it's not just you go out there and install it. There's a lot of other things besides that. Like you have to order the materials, you have to send the quotes, you have to pull permits and all this other kind of stuff. And you know unless you really can't do that with the just a calendar. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to actually manage your projects or your jobs for your construction company. Okay, so I'm going to pull you over to another program. This is our custom program that we're currently working on. And the main thing that you need is a pipeline. Okay, so I've made other videos about pipelines, but this will go over it as well. But within a pipeline, there's going to be a few different sections. Okay, so this is how we personally have our setup. So basically the initial contact. So this is when the person first comes into our, atmosphere, let's say. So this is how we basically manage the sales for our business. Okay. So, because what ends up happening is you have all these leads coming in, but then you need a way of filtering them out to figure out who's going to be more likely to move forward. So that's what we use this for. Okay. Once they do, they have the leads and we give them a ballpark price over the phone, the next step is for an on-site consultation. Okay, this is where you actually start managing, the projects within your company. Okay, so here, there's all different things that have to be done. They have to pay for it. We have to schedule the on-site consultation, and then once the consultation's done, then they go into this column. Okay, because it goes in this column, then the person that does the final quotes, they know to do it. So then once they perform it, then it goes into this column and we literally just drag and drop it, right? When this is done, then the salesperson knows that they need to contact the person and basically sell the job at that point. Okay. After that, you'll have a bunch of people that you had sent quotes to or the final quote to, but they didn't move forward. So you manage it within here. Okay. And then if we need to follow up or do go out to remeasure the property or something like that, we can put them in there. And if the thing's done, then we can basically, after the remeasure is done, then basically the final quote will be sent. Okay. Then we're going to get into the part where you're really managing the job is for the installation. Okay, so with the installation, there's tons of things that have to go on. First, the person approves the quote. So basically, we send them the final quote, they click a button to approve, and then we get a notification for that. And then they'll end up in here. After that, we have to convert them into a job into the system, and then we have the invoice and the budget done. That's basically a way of us seeing, how much money we're actually making on the job, and we're able to track it, all the way. After that, the emails are sent. So the emails that we're sending out to the customers are basically to set expectations. So as a fence company, there's different things that are going to happen that these customers need to know about. So we will send them emails to let them know ahead of time what's going to happen. So that way there's no, miscommunication between like us and them, between, what's going to happen versus what's not going to happen. Because they may picture something, certain steps are going to happen or something's going to take place. But if we are not going to do that, we need to let them know ahead of time. If you don't do that, I would highly suggest doing it because it will take, it'll just get rid of a lot of issues. Okay. Then we deal with, the first deposit, if they're going to mail a check, or if we need to order materials, if they're waiting on a permit, if they're actually ready for an installation, right? And then we have where the material is ordered and all that kind of stuff. If the delivery, we received a delivery email, or if we're waiting for the delivery, or the materials are actually delivered. And then these are just the other ones. So as you can see, there's a ton of different steps that we have within our own business. And I'm sure if you start looking at your own business, you're going to see the same thing, that even though, okay, yeah, you booked a job, and yeah, it's nice to put them on the calendar, but between, like, this is just the installation. But again, you see, like, we have a million different things where we have to, order the materials, send emails to the customers. Importantly, after the job's completed, we need to get the final payment. We personally check the installation after it's done by a supervisor. And then what else is really important is requesting Google reviews. The reason why we have so many good Google reviews is because we ask the people for the reviews. Obviously, we have to go through and ask these people, but basically most people do the reviews, but you can see quite a few have not. But this is how we have 180 reviews. Then the final thing that we have is basically the repairs. Now, the repairs are coming up in two different areas, which basically is a paid repair and a warranty repair. Okay. So again, these are important, so that way we don't lose track of the customer, and making sure that, what they paid for is what they actually got, because this is typically where you're going to see a lot of bad reviews, is where, like, you do the installation, there's some kind of issue, so you're supposed to go back out. But if it's in like the spring or your really busy season, well, you're probably going to end up forgetting about them. That's where this is super helpful, so you don't forget about people. The other reason why this is super nice is that typically you're going to have one person that's in control of most of this stuff. Well, what happens if that person's out sick, or they leave the company, or in our case, the person's pregnant, right? So, with her being pregnant, her mind is pretty much shot at this point. It's getting a little bit better because she's in the second trimester. But, for a while, she was forgetting everything she did. But luckily, because of this, you could forget what's going on, but you could easily just jump in and say, okay, what's going on with Harry Ake, right? Well, then I already know. Well, I'm waiting for the permit on this. So once we get that, then we can go to the next step, right? And, even if it's not a memory issue, if she's just out sick or she has doctor's appointment, well, then myself or my wife can just basically jump in and know exactly what's going on, because everyone's in a different stage, right? So anyway, not a super long video, but this is what's going to help you to be able to determine what's going on. Now, so what happens if you're using a program like Jobber, and you really do want to manage your whole process through a pipeline? Well, fortunately, we will have this. We're basically scaling this main program back, and basically it will have the pipeline in there. We're also going to add probably the ability, if basically be like an option where you can actually track all your phone calls as well. Because typically what's going to happen is you really want to, same thing with Jobber. If you're using this without a pipeline, well, not only is your the organization and the operations of your business suffering because of that, but your sales are suffering as well, because, if you have these leads coming in and you just give them a quote and that's it, well, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. So typically what happens is most people are using the pipeline. Like I said, for the salespeople is using this first part, and then basically the operation side is like the next sections. So some people do like how the leads are coming into here, like all the phone calls. So that way you basically, one, you can find out if they're actually answering the phone or not. Two, you can actually listen to the MP3 and listen to see what's actually going on. Obviously, you have to put in there that, call may be recorded, but anyway, that information's in there. And but yeah, so hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, like, subscribe. If this is going to help someone else that that is in business, please share it to them. And to get more helpful articles and all kinds of other cool stuff, you can go to localprohelper.com. The link is in the description. Thank you.